The date was April 18th, 1962 at Boston Garden, where we had the Los Angeles Lakers facing the Boston Celtics in one of the most important Game 7s in NBA history. The Celtics were en route to completing the second four-peat in American sports, while Jerry West and the Lakers were looking to establish themselves as the new face of the NBA. But that would be no easy feat, as the Celtics had proven to be one of the greatest teams in all of sports history, with legends such as Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, and Sam Jones, Havlicek. This team was filled with tested champions who were building something absolutely historic, but Jerry West had emerged quickly to be one of the best players in the league, and with a supporting cast such as Elgin Baylor, this truly would be a matchup for the ages. Drink your water. And as the game progressed, everyone in that crowd knew this game was going to come down to the wire. It went back and forth, just as Game 7s tend to do. A trend you're going to notice as this video goes on. Neither team could get a comfortable lead throughout the entire game, and in the closing moments of regulation, Frank Selvey of the Lakers had an opportunity to seal the game with a baseline shot. Unfortunately, Selvey's shot rattled right off the rim and sent the game into overtime, tied at 100 all. This shot really could have given the Lakers their first championship in LA and potentially avoid the absolute catastrophe that you're about to learn about in this video. This shot would go down as one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history. Selvey was usually a reliable mid-range shooter, and that miss would haunt him and the Lakers fans for years. All of NBA history could have been completely different, as that shot was truly inches away from ending the Celtics' dominance. And in overtime, muscle memory took over for the Celtics while fatigue set in for the Lakers. Bill Russell was able to collect some of the most important rebounds of his career, totaling 40 in that game to go along with his 30 points. And as the Celtics managed to pull away by just a few points in the final minute, winning the game 110 to 107, the Lakers couldn't overcome the relentless rebounding defensive prowess of Russell and the rest of the Celtics. When your opposing team has a box score like this, it's very hard to overcome that team effort. Jerry West finished these 1962 finals with averages of 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. But unfortunately for him, this would become the template for much of his finals career. Imagine going to the finals 9 different times over your career and only having 1 ring to show for it. Imagine losing in the finals to the 2 same teams 8 different times. Imagine losing so many finals that they actually take pity on you and give you the finals MVP in one of the times you lose the finals. Imagine no more. You're about to learn about Jerry West and his finals nightmares. Almost every one of my channel's viewers is not subscribed to the channel. Do me a huge favor and hit that subscription button. We're trying to get monetized. My dog and I. Jerry West, the very person who's behind the NBA logo, and even though the NBA won't officially admit it's him, is known to be one of the greatest shooting guards of all time. Drafted number 2 out of West Virginia behind Oscar Robertson in 1960, West immediately made an impact on his new team and was putting up near 18 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, which you would think would be good enough for the Rookie of the Year honors, but that ended up going to Oscar Robertson, who averaged an actual 30 points a game. But where Oscar was finding himself with immediate personal success, Jerry West found himself in the NBA Finals in only his 3rd year in the league, which, as we just saw and learned about, was Jerry West's first taste at devastating losses in the finals. In the following year, in 1963, it was a fresh start for Jerry West, as he had the opportunity to build on his growth from the previous year, and after finishing first in the Western Conference at 53-27, it really was all but certain these 2 teams would be meeting in the finals again, which is exactly what happened. The Celtics, who finished with the best record in the league at 58-22, held home court advantage, and as they opened up the series with 2 wins at home, in which Game 1 was another nail-biter, the Celtics won 117-114, and that was that. The standard had been set. Between Game 7 in the 1962 finals and Game 1 in the 1963 finals, and watching both of these games come down to the wire, seeing both these teams put everything they had out on the court, it just seemed no matter what the Lakers threw at the Celtics, they always were able to overcome. They were always able to sustain. And the rest of the 1963 finals would go no different. The Lakers would lose in 6, and in the blink of an eye, Jerry West was now 0-2 in the NBA Finals. But also, just like that, in 1965, only 2 years later, they would meet the Celtics again for a 3rd time, where Jerry West would average near 34 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, which would be a competitive... Oh, never mind. The Lakers got absolutely steamrolled 4-1. Not even close. But also just like that, in 1966, the very next year, the Lakers and the Celtics were back in the finals again. And this time it was arguably the most meaningful matchup yet. This was Red Auerbach's last season as the Celtics coach, and the Celtics roster wanted nothing more than to send him off into the sunset with one last trophy. And after 4 games, that was exactly what everyone thought was going to happen. The Lakers trailed 3-1 in what seemed to be the same old story being written out over again. But But for the last time until LeBron and the 2016 Cavaliers, the Lakers won the next 2 games and forced a Game 7 in Boston Garden. And there we had it. The stage was once again set. Jerry West could finally relinquish all the pain from those previous losses. He could deny the Celtics their greatest ring yet while delivering one of the greatest comebacks in sport history as the Lakers' first championship in LA. But you've seen the title to this video and you already know what's about to happen. In another heartbreaking fashion, Jerry West and the Lakers once again fell 2 points short, losing 95-93. And despite averaging 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, he just could not outrun Bill Russell's 24 rebounds a game and 24-point averages. Jerry West was now 0-4 in the finals, and with 5 more to go, this was not going to get any easier. Buckle up. In 1968, we again had the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals, but this time would be different. Red Auerbach was no longer the Celtics coach, as Bill Russell had become one of the first player coaches in history. Would this be the difference that helped the Lakers break through? Would losing one of the greatest minds in basketball history be the difference? Could Jerry West finally get that elusive ring? Jerry West once again put up near 31 points a game and 5.5 assist averages, but again, how can you beat a team whose box score looks like this? You simply cannot. This really is one of the greatest teams in almost sports history. That offseason, Jerry West got some of the best backup you could ever have with the signing of Wilt Chamberlain. That, coupled with the fact that the Celtics were truly aging into retirement, this felt like it was the year for the Lakers to finally break through. And right on cue, we found ourselves in another Game 7. But this wasn't any ordinary Game 7. This was Bill Russell's final game. This was Jerry West's final shot at getting revenge against him specifically. This was also the game that included one of the most controversial coaching decisions of all time, as Wilt Chamberlain was left on the bench after he had left the game with an injury with about 5 minutes left. And as we would later find out, Wilt claimed he wanted to return, but coach Butch Van Bredekolf refused to sub him back in. This was also the game that included one of the most questionable ownership decisions in sports history, as the Lakers were so confident they were going to win, they had the balloons in their rafters ready for release once the title was secured. And for all the 2016 Atlanta Falcon fans, I'm sorry for the flashbacks you're now getting from your owner coming down onto the sidelines during that Super Bowl against the Patriots. And was also the series that would unfortunately be the only time in NBA history that the losing team would have the finals MVP, and just as you guessed it, that person here would be Jerry West. Near 38 points a game, 7.5 assists, and 5 rebounds. While you would think this would be a silver lining, this honestly is one of the most depressing awards ever given, as many believe this felt more as a consolation prize after a decade of falling short to the Celtics year after year after year. However, there was indeed a level of relief, as Bill Russell would no longer be there to lead the Celtics, which would finally prove to be the opening the Lakers needed. Just kidding. They lost the very next year in the finals in another Game 7 to the New York Knicks, to the likes of players such as Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. And if you know your NBA history, this was the NBA Finals that included the infamous tunnel entrance from the Knicks player Willis Reed in Game 7. As he was by far their most dominant player, it was a major concern that he was not expected to play. So his entrance out the tunnel right before warm-ups is known to be one of the most exciting moments in Knicks history, as the crowd went absolutely bananas when they saw him come out. It always felt like Jerry West was always up against something more than just the team that was against him on the court. There was always some myth or some legend, some story or narrative that he was going against. And right on cue, 2 years later in the 1972 NBA Finals, the Lakers found themselves back up against those same New York Knicks that knocked them out previously. Wait, hold on a second. In the 1972 NBA Finals, Jerry West averaged near 20 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds, while the Lakers absolutely dusted the New York Knicks, finally bringing the championship to Los Angeles, and finally removing the demons that have been haunting Jerry West for his entire career. Jerry West suffered from a curse that many athletes such as Peyton Manning or LeBron James do. These players, no matter how great, run up against generational dynasties, just prove to be too high mountains to climb. I'm not sure any of us can truly understand how relieved Jerry West must have been. After almost a decade of losing year after year after year in the most devastating fashions in Game 7s after Game 7s, the amount of pain Jerry West must have been through must have torn him apart. With this first championship under his belt and a more balanced team around him, Jerry West would set up to win the next championship. Oh no, he got absolutely dogged in the 1973 finals by the same Knicks team, 4-1. Well, there you have it. There really might not be another player in sports history that's quite like Jerry West. When it comes to his skills, his abilities on the court, his knowledge of the game, he really is up there with some of the greatest ever. But this man unfortunately ran up against one of the greatest teams in sports history and really ended up being their biggest victim. But you really can't help but go back and think about that shot that was missed in Game 7 of the 1962 NBA Finals. If Selvy's shot goes in and the Lakers win that game, game, there's a very strong chance that the history of the NBA as we know it would be completely different. Seriously, drink your water. I firmly believe the 2-game stretch between that Game 7 in the 1962 Finals and the Game 1 in the 1963 NBA Finals, both of them being so close and both of them having the players put forward everything they had, and seeing the Celtics come away both times just showed that no matter what the Lakers did, the Celtics were just that much better. Thankfully for Jerry West, he would go on to have one of the most successful careers in the front office of both the Lakers and the Warriors and the Clippers. And we could spend an entire video talking about what he did for those Lakers and what he brought to them after he played for them, but that would be a video for another time. What are your thoughts? Where do you really rank Jerry West? I mean, how much do you really even know about him? Were you aware there was a player in NBA history who was 1-8 in the NBA Finals? And what do you honestly think that would do to a player's psyche in today's world in the day of social media? Alright, that's enough yapping for today. And if you enjoyed this video, think about watching either of these videos that's on the screen. As always, hit that sub button and turn on notifications. Go out there and do something great.